All right, GJ standing outside the Soundshack, hopefully not crushing the neighbors with them psychedelic blues. We're going to talk about the rig by popular demand. I'm going to tell you all about the rig, the pedalboard, the amp setup. Let's zoom in here and start with, just because, Gibson Flying V, 1975. I love them 70s Gibsons, as you know. I really like these discolored, I don't know what's kind of plastic epoxy volume knobs. And I love the configuration of the 75. The configuration of the switches and stuff really works for me. Love these pickups. It's a real bitey kind of guitar. And it's got this peculiar mylar sock or something that they put to reinforce the neck joint around the volute. As you can see, this one's already got a bit of cracking to it, but this is one of my favorite guitars that I keep down here in Texas. Through a curly cable, maybe just because I'm such a Black Sabbath fan, or I don't know, I love looking at the old footage of Hendrix or Tony Iommi with their curly cord. I really think they sound different. That's just me. What else we got? This pedalboard. Let me tell you about it. Voodoo Lab switching matrix and Voodoo Lab pedal power Mondo. I love the Mondo because it has so many options for voltage and amperage, and some of these vintage pedals like a very specific kind of voltage. You can even emulate battery sag, as you can see, because some pedals apparently like it when the battery is fixing to die. So that enables us to do all of that. Now with my switching, I don't really have that many switches on the go. Number 4 for me is just going to the tuner, which is just a kill switch for guitar handoffs and such. Number 3, we'll work our way backwards. Number 3 is all my dub effects, which I really like to make use of live because they'll give me a lot of control that I don't have to strictly rely on the front of house sound to do all of the dub effects for me. Including what I can do with the regeneration pedal to get really dramatic swells and things like that. Now, in line with the delay, I also, on the same switch, have my Moog phaser, which is a great phaser. Between the 6-stage mode and the 12-stage mode, you can get so many variations of tone with it. It makes a great overdrive pedal if you wanted to get that Ernie Isley kind of a thing, but I keep it in line with the delay when we get into which is pretty groovy. Yeah, we love the Mooger Frugers. We love them Mooger Frugers. The other great thing with this phase shifter, like I said, it has a little bit of overdriviness to it, which I'm going to show you. When you drive it hard, it's great for some of the funkier sounds that we get. The other cool thing with it is this 12-stage setting. You flip a little switch there, and then it really is more like a flanger, which we make really good use of on the song Eternity Now. It kind of has a chorusing sort of a sound to it, and I know that Big Al made pretty epic use of that in the Rush days. We love guitar solos like Free Will and stuff like that. I would listen to Hemispheres the other night and hear some amazing flanger tones. And some people think of flangers and they think of Hendrix and that huge, vacuum cleaner kind of a sweep. But for me, the sweet spot is Alex Lifeson with the flanger. So he graced our record with something like that. All right, another setting that we get a lot of use from, which I will demonstrate to you through the amp today. Now, I would never normally put this through an amp. Generally, when I hit number 2, my Mel 9 pedal, the ElectroHarmonix Mel 9 pedal, will go directly to front of house. It never comes out of my guitar amp. It'll always be in addition to the guitar sound. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to show you what it sounds like. It's just those great psychedelic era mellotron effects, string, orchestras, and cellos and whatnot. And we made use of that on the new record, especially the mellotron on every song. And that's coming right from my guitar rig. So, now, my number 1 favorite is the Chihuahua pedal. The Fender Fuzz Wah, which was a great invention. That's circa 1970 technology right there, where I really feel like they got it right. And man, I love the tone of it. And something that, if you don't know, is really handy with it is not only do you get a wah-wah effect by, let me just engage it here. Your classic wah. Which is cool in itself. But then when you engage the fuzz with it, and you can chain them any way you want. You can go fuzz to wah and wah to fuzz. I like to go fuzz into my wah, but it does this kind of a thing. Now, the best thing of this pedal is the fact that you can sweep the pedal sideways like that and get more distortion if you want it. So it makes a great distortion pedal as well. You can go from a mild increase in distortion to something really radical, So that's the pedalboard. If you want to sweep around and take a look at the amp rig, this is pretty much my live stage setup. The Garnet Herzog, which of course we've talked about a lot, just a simple tube circuit. It's just the most glorious distortion circuit ever. So we use that as the tube heat in the tone. I don't like to overdo it with tubes. I've used tube amps for years and I find they get too sloggy, they get hot, and horses get tired by midway through the race, I was having to switch out tube amps partway through a gig. That's too much work. I don't like that. So I started using the Jazz Chorus. The 120H is my favorite because it's just the head. I like the combos. I use them a lot for steel guitar or smaller gigs. But man, the Jazz Chorus head, the ability to run it through a 412, and my 412s are courtesy of Traynor amplification in Toronto, Canada. We love them and have used them for years, especially since we modified them with Eminence loudspeakers, and the Eminence Wizards really liberated my sound for me. Just those nice, tough 75-watt speakers really do an amazing job at reproducing what I throw at it. I play in a lot of low tunings, and some pretty dense sound hits them every night. And a decade without a blown speaker, for me, is pretty epic. And unlikely. So thanks to Eminence for that. Mic'd it up with a pair of 421s and on into my Apollo rig, and that's what you get to hear out here in the glorious Texas sunshine at the Soundshack.